I need to put a copy of this story? Or do you think it would be fun to say with Grandpa in here? Like the actual story?
No, yeah, probably so.
Okay.
I would think so. Okay, so we're working on our formative assessment for tomorrow that we're going to give. And we're using the story, The Surprise Box, which we already have typed on our paper. And our question is, how do you think Bob and Dot feel at the end of the story when they get the surprise? And we kind of picked that question because there's a question on the benchmark that sounds like that, where they have to talk about their feelings at the end of the story and that kind of thing. So we're going to talk about our criteria and what we want them to do or what their answers should look like. So, okay, so first off it says, how do you think Bob and Dot feel at the end of the story? We're looking for like a feeling word, right?
Right.
Okay, so like at the end of the story, Bob and Dot got a surprise. So what are some words that we might expect them to say?
Happy.
Okay.
Excited.
Excited. I'm
yeah.
looking for excited. Okay. Excited. Happy. So anything really with like a positive feeling?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay. Okay. And we do want them to use race, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we want them to restate, answer, cite evidence, and give an example.
Give an example.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would the restating look like?
I think.
It says, how do you think Bob and Dot feel?
I think
Bob and Dot feel.
Okay.
and
So
then
I think.
they're
So,
feeling
so we're
right.
looking for them to start with I think, right? I
Yeah.
think they feel
Blank.
blank. Okay, so that would be where their feeling word would go?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we want them to say at the end of the story? Or do they have to say that? Do you think it's important for them to say at the end of the
I
story?
did last year.
Okay.
I mean, that tells you where, because I mean, they're not feeling it in the middle of the story.
True.
Do we want them to say the title? Or do we just say story?
I think, what do y'all think? Y'all think it's okay for them to just say the story?
I think, but I mean, if other writings, they're going to have to be, because I
I'm gonna
guess
have to add the title.
They're going to have to add the title.
that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
That's
so
why I said
so maybe when we model, we'll talk about that, like putting the story title in there, but would we take off points if they didn't say the title?
that. No.
Okay. So we want
just
them to
have to
say the
practice.
title of the story, but if they don't, and they just say the story, then that's okay?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. What evidence do we, okay, so then their answer would be like their feeling word.
Mhm.
Okay. Now they're citing their evidence from the story. What kinds of evidence do you think they might cite? Like what happened in the story that would make them feel happy or excited or whatever positive feeling? What are you looking at? Oh,
When. It's supposed to be when.
we can win. Oh, okay, so we have to fix that. Win. Okay. Okay, so, but we're looking for them to say something. What if they say, like, look, we can win? Like, that would make them excited, but that's not at the end of the story. So are we
Yeah.
looking for some kind of evidence at the end of the story?
What about, why can't we say,
They got the surprise.
Okay, so this one, the last one that says Dot and Bob got the surprise, that would be
Yeah.
why they feel
that would be
excited?
what they would
Okay.
outline, huh?
So that's the kind of evidence we're looking for. Is there any other evidence that we think fits that? So what if they say, look, we can win? Are we going to count that? Because, I mean, I'm thinking no, because it's not
It's not at the end.
at the end.
Mhm.
What are y'all thinking?
It's not a thing. I
So
would say
basically-
that-
I mean, basically, yeah.
So basically we're just looking for this evidence right here at the end.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. For example, so we're going to try now. We had talked about in the past how we're not going to require them to use the example, but we are looking for them to go above and beyond and use the example. So last week we talked about how if they don't do the example, they're still going to get their points, right?
Mhm.
Right.
But
Yeah.
if they gave an example, what kind of example would we be looking for?
Something about, for example, I've gotten a surprise.
Right.
Okay, so we want them to say, for example. And what'd you say, Anne?
I've gotten a surprise before.
Okay, because that would be how the story relates to their life. Like, have maybe they've gotten a surprise before. So how are they going to get their? We're going to make this 2 points, just like on the benchmark.
Yeah.
So what did we say last week about what they needed in order to get their
They're 2 points.
2 points?
Restating the question.
Okay, so they have to be able to restate
They have to be able to answer the question.
and answer.
And cite.
And cite.
And cite.
We said all three.
Yeah,
So
then-
if they do all 3 of these and they get their 2 points, okay,
Yeah.
how do they get just a 1 point?
1 point if they answer,
Okay,
1 point if they
and
cite.
1 point if they cite. Right.
okay. So what if they just cite?
They get
Then
1 point.
1 point.
Okay,
So answer only 1 point, cite only 1 point.
Yeah.
okay.
And if they have no answer, they get 0 points.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, I got that in the email,
answer.
but I don't.
So if they just give an example, we're not counting that for anything. That's just
Right.
0
And if they
points.
don't give an example, they can still get
They
their
can still get
2
their 2
points?
points.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. That sounds good. You think that's good? Everybody
So.
agree on that criteria?
Yeah.
All right, sounds great.